It's 7:30 West African time. This is Daybreak. Thanks for staying with us. Residents of Sokoto State have been thrown into panic following the attacks by the United States. The U.S. had in separate strikes targeted communities in two local government areas of Tambuwal and Tangaza in Sokoto State. Our Rise correspondent Search Nasir Nuru tells us more.
It's been over 20 hours since the United States military bomb struck some communities in Sokoto State. Jabo is a relatively peaceful community in Tambuwal local government area of Sokoto State and one of the affected areas where the bomb landed. Residents narrate their experiences while confirming that there is no casualty from the strike.
Sense that, alhamdulillah, there was no loss of life and no loss of property for the meantime. But the only fear I have is we that are farming around this place that this thing happened. The tendency of the fertility of our land is now at stake, considering the fact that this thing that fell is being made with some chemicals and other things that can destroy farmlands and can destroy the fertility of it.
We were just thinking maybe it's a plane crash. So when we come, we cannot say the actual what is happening. We'll just see some just things like a bomb. We'll just hear very sounds, boom, and we'll just come. Then the fire explodes.
Is there any loss of life?
No, we thank God, we thank Almighty Allah. There is no loss of lives, no loss of properties, and we say thank God.
Information of the blast in Tangaza are sketchy, but sources around the local government say the attack was intense and believe casualty may have been recorded. Lack of access to the location has hindered information generation. While the federal government and the defense headquarters have confirmed a pre-knowledge of the strike, not much has been said by the state government. While the situation has created panic for residents, analysts say the message from the U.S. is clear to the terrorists. We know where you are and we can hit you. Suleiman Nasser, Arise News.
All right, thanks, Suleiman Nasiru from Sokoto State. Now, standing by at the site of the U.S. airstrike in Jabu community in Sokoto State is Ferdinand Dura, Arise Chief of Correspondent, joining us live from Sokoto State. Ferdinand, good morning. Good morning, Ferdinand.
Yeah, good morning, Benga. I hope
yeah,
you're well.
So following up with the U.S. airstrike at the early hours of Friday, how precise, how accurate is the so-called precision strikes? Was it able to get the terrorist element or their base?
Well, thank you so much, Benga. Now, that's indeed what this investigation is all about. Now, two words used in that particular statement by U.S. President Donald Trump: powerful and deadly. And so lots of people are asking, well, did it hit its impact? And, were terrorists taken out? Well, we can confirm that, yes, that did happen. Now, the first place that you did see, or perhaps from the reports that you just played, well, that's actually in Jabo in Tambuwal. And from what we are gathering, well, we hear it was not the primary target. Now, the primary target is in Tangaza, and I can confirm to you that Tangaza is a very active point. Now, in terms of, it's a very active point in terms of ongoing theater operations. But also, when you also take a look at some of the reasons, well, taking a look at intelligence, well, we hear that they actually looked at this target and then they considered some things. Well, taking a look at this for Tangaza, well, they say it is an assembly and a staging point. Now, that's also on the road to Niger. So we're talking about the Nigeria-Niger border. And so you want to say that they did target elements coming in from the Sahel. They did target elements staging and assembling at Tangaza. from the Sahel. And this is not the first time that we are hearing that, people migrate through the borders and then come into Nigeria, stage offenses, and then perhaps run back, or perhaps go to some places and hide and then plan another strike. And so that's exactly what this is all about. Unfortunately, the information coming out from Tangasa has actually been few, and the reason is because it's an active site, it's an operational site. Well, who says a strike can still not happen there, because they are still putting things together. But thus far, we hear that there are heavy casualties on the side of the civilians. Well, late yesterday, the Sokoto state government did put out a statement that there are no civilian casualties in terms of the operations in Tangasa. And yes, just behind us is Ajabo in Tambawa local government, where we've actually spoken to, the actors there, the residents there, even the community leaders, who are all happy with the situation in terms of the fact that there is some kind of security presence. But then some of them are worried in terms of we hope there wouldn't be any casualties. But for now, we can confirm to you that indeed there are no civilian casualties.
Okay, Ferdinand, talk us through what you're hearing locally on whether these airstrikes will change the security dynamic, not only in Sokoto State, but adjoining states and in the region.
Well, that's also very interesting, and that's because, 65 years of Nigeria, 65 years since our independence. Well, this is the first time that a foreign body is coming in and then conducting such an operation. And so for some persons, why we want to take a look at it and say, okay, it's good to see that we're getting some kind of cooperation and then coordination. Well, some persons are actually very worried because of the kind of impression that, this gives on the international community. Well, for all sense and purpose, you want to say Nigeria has been spoken about, but then it's not for the best of times. And that's because from this, you begin to hear things like, advisories are coming out, and then some persons saying, perhaps some places, and maybe Sokoto State is going to be one of those places where, we're going to have stronger advisories against. However, the interesting thing is what the federal government has told us, the fact that they are aware. Well, we heard that there was communication 19 minutes before the attack, and then 5 minutes after the attack, to also take a look at, to also inform the Nigerian government, and then also let them know that, yes, this was going to happen, and of course, that was done within the period in which that attack, took place. So it's a good thing that there's some kind of foreign assistance in terms of intelligence. Well, we thought, let's not forget, rewind, and then at a point in time, in November, after the U.S. did categorize Nigeria as a place of concern, we did see the Department of War bring out some scenarios. Well, some of those scenarios include providing intelligence for the Nigerian security operatives to come out and then do the groundwork themselves. And then some of them includes, the next one also include what we've seen right now, conducting precision strikes from some particular places. Well, for some of us who are, who have some security, who have a good understanding of security, we were worried and we're thinking, okay, where will the strikes come from? But right now we've learned that, yes, it did take place from one of the American installations within the Gulf of Guinea, and it was actually carried out by an MD Reaper, which is a drone. And then for that, you want to say, depending on the kind of weapons, it could be a Hellfire, or perhaps it could be a laser precision, missile. And I think from what we're getting, it's more of a Hellfire, and that's because of what they've told us, what we've seen in terms of the remnants. But then they're still putting all that together. Well, that has to be done by the forensic people to let us know exactly what was used, and of course give us some kind of information for our own security purpose. But moving on, yes, these scenarios were planned. There was a scenario of them coming in, putting boots on the ground. Well, there's also the scenario of them supporting the Nigerian intelligence, and then also another scenario of them carrying out these strikes themselves. But they opted to use that, which involved them having this precision attack. So all in all,
we know you have so much coming from that that meal, connecting with the reality on ground. We know you have so much to tell us. We'll come back to you. Arise News will come back to you later in the day for more updates. That was Arise News Chief of Correspondent and Security Correspondent also, Ferdinand Duroa, giving us a live feed from the airstrike site in Sokoto State. Thank you very much indeed, Ferdinand. Now let's discuss further. We are joined live in the studio on Daybreak by Major General John Enenche, Pioneer Director of Defense Media Operations at the Defense Headquarters and former Commandant of the Army War College. Thank you very much, General John Enenche. You've seen, thank you very much indeed. You've seen what happened at Jabi, and we've also learned that there was another precision strike at the Tangaza community. What do you make of this development?
I am very happy about the development, in the sense that this is an issue we have been battling with for over 2 decades. And we now have a cooperation, we have an agreement of a country bold enough to come out and say, look, let us tackle this issue once and for all. Why am I happy? In the sense that we have lost so many souls. People died innocently. And we tried various solutions, diplomatic solutions, and all that dialogue, and among others, even to the extent of some people that we know going to bargain and talk with bandits, talk with terrorists. As if there was no solution, just like at the time a former president said that Nigeria's economic solution problem has defied all solutions, which we are seeing until today. I am happy because as a military man and somebody who fought in that area, but in the Northeast particularly, over 20 years ago, and I saw with my 2 eyes the casualty and the rate, and then the devastation that has happened over time. I'm doing a work now, and I see when I came to the portion of the casualties that have been recorded. Now I look at it because one security that affects all is a human security. It affects economic security, cyber security, and all that. With a human being, we're talking about human beings. And it's like we didn't have any solution. Now America has come out, bold, audacious. President Donald Trump came out and said, look, we're going to help you, we're going to assist you. Now you look at the cost of their investment in all this. I don't know whether we bargain with them to pay them something. No, I don't know. Sacrifice. So I'm happy because it is the beginning of the good things to come in this country.
Okay. You're so confident that this is the beginning of good things to come in Nigeria. You've also said, let's tackle this issue once and for all, insinuating that the involvement of America will put a lead on this. For some, they will disagree, saying this may be the road to Syria, to Iraq, to Afghanistan for Nigeria. Your response to that?
Our response in this kind of situation is always different as Nigerians. Where you expect the negative, you see the positive. They are the pessimists. Those people, I look at them as people as enemies of this country. Why didn't we look at what happened when we went to Liberia and Sierra Leone? Anywhere, Congo and all in those days, anywhere Nigerians cooperate and come together and agree on a particular thing, we always get the result. That is the point I'm making. Now we have agreed, the America has taken the lead for us. All we need to do is now to follow up with the backup actions of taking ownership of our security, indigenous homeland security measures, put it in place, and then we are good to go. We can never, I can tell you that Nigerians can never. Those people who are doing that are just instigating and insinuating people. And I want the government to take a look at them critically and put them to check. Because from what you hear, that is what spans you into negative action. So I can say that confidently, this is just the precursor. This is the beginning, the first step. Now we are confident, and these bad people, I can tell you that they don't want to be followed. The staging area, the assembly area, that is precision, because there was intelligence shared. And I believe that because I'm privy to it, to some extent, and intelligence was shared, and you now got that location. And people are saying, where did we? No. The fact that the location was gotten from far away Gulf of Guinea. Look at the capacity. Look at the weapon used. Do we have that capacity? So I can say that this is a beginning of the things to come, and then it will be tackled, because they will not hand over to us. They may not come foot on the ground, but we now have to do the foot on the ground. We have to put the necessary resources, and that is why all the state governors, local governments should now come in support of this effort.
Sorry, just a follow-up. You say they'll hand over to us when they leave. So when they leave and they hand over to Nigerians, don't you think that the usual Nigeria business as usual of failure would then continue?
That is where the federal government, state governments come in now. What is the problem? Corruption, or whatever they say. We now have to tackle it, both of them alongside each other. Handing over in the sense, I don't even know when they will hand over. If you ask me, as long as this problem still then remain, because we have hardened people, stubborn, in quotes, some leaders who just open their mouth and talk anyhow to instigate people. So any time that we work together and come to a meeting point, you will know it. It will be clear that the situation is now, okay for them to withdraw or to step aside. Let me rather say stepping aside. Okay. Because I don't believe that America will now go completely with the way they have moved.
Okay.
And leave Nigeria
as a general, it clearly shows that you've confirmed the inability of the Nigerian military to tackle this threat. And also, when we look at it with the third eye of U.S. interest in the Gulf of Guinea, a lot of people come with the narrative of the U.S. energy demands and also the search for a market, which the Gulf of Guinea, including Nigeria, provides. So now, how sustainable is this U.S. precision strike? Because I want to assume this is just a pilot phase.
Yes, it is sustainable in the sense for two things. You have said it. Of course, from history and from what we discovered from our engagements abroad, particularly in Liberia and among other West African countries, we don't normally put anything on the table as per what we gain. But a wise country will always put something on the table. A country that is economically wise, and then also look at return on investment. Everything in life, most things are returns on investment. So if that happens, the relationship for me, it will last as long as possible. That is one. And even if they had put something on the table, not be made public to Nigerians, it's okay. There's nothing wrong in that at all. Then secondly, yes, we need to invest now and begin to put our house in order to be able to continue. Of course, like I said, it will be difficult for them to come and put. I don't see the sign coming that American soldiers will come and begin to do what we are supposed to do from bush to bush, like forest guard, the military, the vigilante, and all. That is where we now come in as a country, as a people. Now there are technologies coming up which we should leverage on drone. There is one we are experimenting. So, like I said the other time, since we introduced drones here, surveillance drone, those criminals have ceased from that place completely for about 6 months now, and it will continue. So we now, as a people, governors and all, state government, local state security councils, we now come up with packages that are unfolding. Embrace it, then it can be sustained. Somebody comes to your house, help you to kill a snake. You now look out for what you will do to ensure that snakes don't come in again. And that is what we will do, and the measures are there. It is possible. If they will not hold on to resources like the 19 northern states now, they say they'll be contributing 1 billion every month. That 19 billion can take care of commencing a drone station that has a capacity permitted by the NSA to do surveillance and also to do lethal attacks.
Okay, what do you have to say to actors like Sheikh Gumi, who vehemently oppose this, as well as the opposition party, the African Democratic Congress?
Well, I don't want to address personalities. But like I have said it loud and clear, any person, any group, whatever you are, and you are opposing this, you are anti-Nigerian, you don't love Nigerians. That means you might have not lost a loved one, or you are benefiting indirectly from what is happening. I will accuse any organization, any person, even if it's my brother, even if it's my wife, my children, I will accuse them without reservations. So I don't subscribe to that at all. What you don't have capacity, what you don't have the heart to do. Somebody is doing it for you and you are coming out, opening your gutter and then criticizing that person. It is wrong. Nigeria should take action against such people decisively. If you look at the list of 31 offenses that can be categorized as a terrorism, look at them, item 21 and item 33. This is implied for anybody. So the government should not, the president has come out boldly to declare state of emergency. It will not be too much for him to come at you. You are committing an implied offense as against counter-terrorism that has been reviewed. Take that person, and people will sit up, will stop making inflammatory nonsense comments.
Okay, General John Enenche, you've said that any Nigerian that does not believe in this, because you have a firm belief that this would address the question of insecurity in the country.
Yes.
Yeah, but some Nigerians will find your statement a bit equivocal and hypothetical based on the fact that the Nigerian government itself has been foot dragging on the issue of state policing, and also the question of when there was an abduction in Kebbi State, that up till now they are yet to make a pronouncement on who ordered the security detail away from the school just a few hours before the abduction took place. So when there is this deliberate hoarding of information and foot dragging on clear policies that would address these issues like state policing, what do you make of the government itself?
That is a problem that we have been battling with. Me and you, know. You talk about corruption. It's even possible the soldier or the staff center there was even compromised. It will not be the fault of the CDS or the chief of army staff. Is it not the children we have brought up? Is it not the system? Is the type of army you want, the type of system community you want? That is and that was what has been our bane in this country for long. So now, what I will say in addition to that is that, like I made the comment, we should make constructive contribution and not destructive. These people, they are destructive.
Right.
You know what you hear influences your action.
Okay. General, we were entering an uncharted territory with this. It's probably the first time this is happening in Nigeria, and some people view this as damaging to the perception of the Nigerian government or the Nigerian state and its sovereignty as weak. How would you respond to that?
Is it the first time that we have been damaged? Is it the first time? It's not new. They have categorized us as a corrupt nation, on which list it kept increasing as far as I followed up. So it's not new, but if such a thing will come, but at the end of the day, we save the lives of people being lost on daily basis. For me, it is good. Categorize us anything. Now, for instance, you now say Jesus Christ told the prostitute, go and sin no more. If now we are categorized, but at the end of the day, the end justifies the means. We get our people protected. I was just saying now to travel for Christmas problem and all that. And once we get that right, I can assume rightly that in less than 5-6 we are through, and it's going to be a forgotten issue. But the most important thing for us, both the government and the populace, is to support this effort collectively, and then we stop this menace, monstrous menace that we now say people from outside the country. And what about our local people? What about the collaborators? What about the inflamers?
Okay. Just because you've said so much about your confidence in this exercise by
Absolutely.
the U.S. government. But now let's look at the post-U.S. strike situation. Because you talked about compromise when you were. Does that suggest a confirmation of the infiltration of terrorist elements into the Nigeria's security and defense architecture? Because if that is so, how do we intend to consolidate on this U.S. strike, given a highly compromised security and defense architecture?
What we should do, the government should do, is that no sacred cow. In the first place, once there is no sacred cow, I tell you that down the ladder, from the major general to the lance corporal to the private, it will be checked. If now, for instance, let me use myself as an example now. General Enenche come and then compromise, and General Enenche come and make a comment or whatever, destructive point, and then something happen, pick me up. Take me out of the system. That's all. And once they see that the lance corporal, the sergeant will not do what if they are complicit of what we are assuming that they did. So that is the way I feel we should go. No respect for rank, no respect for position, for any name. Whatever the person is, heaven will not fall. Sky will not fall.
All right. Major General John Enenche, retired Pioneer Director of Defense Media Operations at the Defense Headquarters and former Commandant Army War College, thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak this morning. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for here on Daybreak. It's goodbye from me, Constance Ikoku.
Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is up next, and goodbye. I'm Gbenga Ashiru.
Good morning. Today's weather will be sunny with a high